All right, let's look at the actual setup that you're going to be looking for so that you can jump into some trades. Now, keep in mind that most traders, or probably 80%, like to trade the trend. Okay, it's smart. You think, okay, the trend is your friend. Well, keep in mind that the reality of trading is that 80% of the time the market is not trending. It's often just kind of range bound, all right, and then it breaks out and then it will trend strongly. Another problem is that you often don't know you're in a strong trend until a lot of it's already taken off without you. This is going to help you to get into some possible new strong trends that are just still hidden. Okay, now conventional trading is I have a 4-hour U.S. Canadian dollar chart here, and the market in this area here, it's trading above the 200. So typically what people would do, and it's a very valid trade, they would look for the market. Let me just grab my little screen drawing tool here. They'd say, okay, market jumping up above the 200 is good. They would wait for the market to bounce off of the 200 and then take the trade up. All right, well, what happens here is we had a scenario, market going up strong, market coming down near the 200, but guess what? The market didn't settle out and bounce off of here, which we would have been looking for. Instead, it just it completely broke through this support level, okay, and started to sell off rather strongly in the opposite direction. So this whole move from here, all the way down, under the normal trend trading, you would have missed it on this particular time frame. So let me just remove this stuff. Okay, let me do one other thing here. So how do we capture some of these moves where they're hidden and it's basically a breakdown of the trend? And let me explain that. In this particular example, as I said, this should lend support, but the market just kind of plunged right through. So it's a breakdown of the traditional trend trading strategy. So that support is now forming resistance. So that's where we want to look for our trades. Now, one thing that happens is, well, what do you do when the bars are kind of straddling? In other words, the moving average is sort of basically in the middle of that bar. When the market is straddling that, it hasn't made up its mind. It might find support there, it might not. So those bars make it very confusing. So what I'm always doing, this setup bar, is I want to see let me just blow this up a little bit. Go over here. All right, so here's the couple bars are straddling. We don't know what's going to happen. I want to see a Heikki Ashen bar that is underneath it's completely underneath, or it could be where maybe the top of that bar is just touching the line a little bit. That's okay, but I want it to be where 95% of that bar is clearly underneath the line. That tells me that this support level is now broken. All right, it's not holding. This is the tip off based on market action that the market no longer wants to play above this line. So what we're simply going to do is, once we find out that the market's tipping its hand in a new direction, we are going to just basically, let me just put a line here. Oops. Do this here. We want to sell when the market goes just below, breaks the low of that bar. That's it. Okay. And then as far as money management strategy, we'll talk about that in another video. If we go back here, You can see here that the market had been, it was trading underneath, and it's doing, so if it's underneath, we're really looking, we're saying, okay, market is trading underneath the 200, and you'd be thinking, I'm going to look for sell signals, kind of using the bounce strategy off of that and go with the direction of trend. That is fine, but we're not going to talk about those here. But what happens in a situation like this? You're looking for a short, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, the market starts to pop above this thing. Well, it's now a new trend direction, at least you think it is. Okay, but if you're just using a trend trading strategy, excuse me, you can't jump in. So all we do is we want to wait for a nice strong bar above that line. And this is the first strong one here. Okay, this is pretty damn close, okay, because, well, this one before it, that was straddling, so that doesn't count. This one, you can see the whole bar, or the body, okay, the solid white part is above the line, and there's just a tiny bit of the lower part. So as I said, as long as about 95% of the bar is above, that is good enough to start looking. So the whole idea is, let me just move this line here. This bar is our early tip-off that the trend is changing, okay, or potentially changing. So we're simply going to buy the breakout of the high of that bar. Now you can see if we go back here, notice this bar straddled the line, so we knew not to do anything. This one is really straddling it because there's quite a bit of that. Good 25% is sitting on top of it. You don't know. All right. No, none of these bars, they're straddling it, told us to do anything as far as the new direction goes. Okay. So this is the kind of trades we're looking at, where we want physical confirmation of a bar strongly on one side or the other. All right. So I'm going to just end this video, and I like to keep my videos short, and on the next one we're going to look at a few more examples.